Have you ever been in a position where you have stopped yourself from moving forward with a task, or you stopped yourself starting a business, making money, asking that pretty girl out for dinner or whatever it is? Chances are you've been in a situation like this, and if this is something that keeps coming up for you, it's stopping you from making progress. Now, these things are called limiting beliefs. It could be that you're familiar with the term limiting beliefs, but don't necessarily truly understand what it is that we're talking about. Or maybe you know that you have limiting beliefs, but you just don't know how to get over them. Well, in this video, that's exactly what I intend to do. I intend to uncover what limiting beliefs are, some examples of common limiting beliefs, and how we can go about making the change that worked for me in the past to get over those limiting beliefs. Because once you're aware of them and you understand where they come from, that's when you can start to make an important change to getting rid of them and working around them and pushing them aside so that you can live the life that you deserve and start building your own legend. So as I said, this is something I've suffered from in the past before. 8 or 9 years ago, I was racked with limiting beliefs, regards to everything, regards to money, relationships, work, jobs, businesses, you name it. I had a limiting belief around that thing. I was suicidal, I felt worthless, I was depressed, I was in a really dark place. And then I went on my journey, and all of these things that I've learned since then, over 8 or 9 years, has put me in a position I'm able to now coach people. And it's my life mission to help people like yourself get past these limiting beliefs so you can start living the life you deserve. So what is a limiting belief? So a limiting belief is pretty much exactly what it is. It's a belief in your belief system that is deeply ingrained, and it holds you back from realizing your full potential. They often come from past experiences, or they'll come from societal expectations or changes, or even your own negative self-perception. So you need to identify where they're coming from so that we can challenge those. So what are some common ones? Let's go through some common ones. I don't deserve success, or I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not talented enough, or I'm too old or too young, which is a nice common one. That's something that I've had relatives suffer from in the past. So limiting beliefs are self-imposed barriers, and they are self-imposed, that stop you from taking risks, seizing opportunities, or reaching your full potential. They limit your confidence, self-esteem, and ability to achieve the results that you desire. You can start to understand how paralyzing that they can be. So what you need to do is really understand how much they are stopping your life from moving forward. So just take a moment to think about your own belief system. What are your thoughts and beliefs that are holding you back consistently? What are the ones that you consistently say to yourself in your own mind? You go and do a thing and it's like, nah, I'm not going to do that. Oh, because so-and-so said so. Or maybe it's a money thing. I'm no good with money. Well, what evidence have you got to base that? Is there any evidence that you have to base on that? If it's that you have no money, okay, it's not necessarily that you're bad with money, but maybe you've just developed some bad habits. Habits can be changed. This is what we're going to be going through, okay? So carry on thinking about those and thinking about what it is, those repeat offenders that keep popping up, and we need to make a note of those. And you need to challenge them by, once you've figured out what they are, where do they come from? Are they ones that you've had a parent consistently tell you, oh, you're never going to amount to anything, or you're never going to be able to achieve anything major because we're not lucky enough? That was one that was used on me. I say used sounds malicious. My mother, bless her, didn't realise that that's what she was doing. It was something that was done to her by her parents, and she accidentally did it to me. So this is what we mean. So you might have a belief system that isn't necessarily yours, but it's not your fault. But it's also not your parents' fault or your siblings or whoever it is that's instilled that into you. It's just where they come from. But what's important is that you're listening and watching this video so that you can overcome this. So how can you reframe a limiting belief so that it's more powerful? Quite frankly, tell it the opposite. That is the best way to come up with a limiting belief. And it sounds ridiculous, but whenever you catch yourself telling yourself a limiting belief, immediately tell the opposite. The fact that I've raised your awareness now to what a limiting belief is and what they might be for you, now that you've taken a moment to reflect on what they are, you can now use those limiting beliefs whenever you feel yourself or you hear yourself thinking whatever that limiting belief is, tell it the opposite. So let's say you're not good enough, or you're saying I'm not good enough. What you can do is go through and go, what evidence is there to support that I'm not good enough? You see a job that you like the look of and you have a look at it and you're going through all the job description, and before you even got to the essential criteria, you're like, nah, I'm not good enough for this. Who says? You haven't applied for that job. You haven't even applied for that job. Who has said that you're not good enough for that? Like, if they are saying you need to be a lawyer, I'm going to apply for a lawyer job, and you've never even studied law in the slightest, then you're probably not going to get that role. But that's realistic expectations, which is different. A limiting belief is something, oh, I'm not good enough to do that. Let's say you're an electrician, like me, and there's a job going for electrician. You're looking for electrical jobs, and you looking at a job spec and you're like, oh, I'm not good enough for that. But you're an electrician. Who says you're not good enough for that? You're telling yourself you're not good enough for that. No one else is telling you. Don't let anyone else tell you what the fuck they think, unless they're doing the thing that you want to do, or they are where you want to be. Don't pay attention to anyone else. Unless they have been through exactly what it is that you want to do and where you want to be, don't listen to them. Their opinion isn't important. Don't let other people set your own limiting beliefs. So how do you get over that? I'm not good enough. You tell yourself you are good enough. Once you've looked at and analysed whatever that might be, you can then go, okay, there's no evidence to support I'm not good enough. So I am good enough. And then you tell yourself that you are good enough. And you repeatedly do that. And over time, you will believe that you are good enough. So every time you think, oh, I'm not good enough for that, tell yourself, no, I am good enough for this. I'm good enough to do this because I have this evidence to support that I am good enough to do that. And once you start feeding that different way of thinking, those negative thoughts will start and those limiting beliefs will start to go away. Self-awareness is one of the biggest things that you have as a weapon against limiting beliefs. So make sure that once you're aware of it and once you feel yourself telling yourself these things, that's when you can start making that change to that, and then replacing that self-negative talk with more powering affirmations. So whatever that might be, I am good enough to do this, I can do this. And then you can use on top of that visualization. Imagine yourself in that role of whatever it is that you want to do, or doing whatever that thing is that you've been stopping yourself from doing. How much joy is that going to bring you? Use those emotions, embrace that feeling that you have down here and push that forward. Stronger mindset, and you start telling yourself things. There's a few things that you can do to help just reinforce all of this, reinforce this strength, this new mindset. Understand the role of fear. Fear is something that has been designed to keep you safe. Fear is an emotion it is an instinctual thing we have to keep you safe. Fundamentally, that's all it is. You can acknowledge that and go, okay, I've acknowledged you. I've seen that you're there. Let's weigh up the pros and cons here, and then move forward. And then once you've achieved that thing, that fear will disappear. Because once you have achieved whatever it is that fear is, it will disappear. You don't need it anymore. So understand the power of fear. Embracing failure as a stepping stone. Whenever you fail, see that as a chance to learn. See that as a chance to develop. Don't see it as a failure. Don't be afraid of failure. For instance, Thomas Edison, when he was asked, how do you feel about all of these failures? His response was, I've not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that it didn't work. That mindset, if he didn't develop the light bulb when he did, where would we be now? Would I have all of this light around me? Probably. It might not be as great as it is now. Build a supportive network of like-minded individuals. So chances are, wherever you want to be, there's someone that's already done that, and there's someone that's already where you want to be. Go out and seek those individuals. Go out and seek those individuals that are on the same journey as you to achieve that thing. Because all the while that you have people around you that don't share that vision, they're not going to understand. And if they don't understand, they're not going to support you. They're going to possibly hold you back. So unless you have a network of people around you that are there to support you, push forward those ideas that aren't going to put their limiting beliefs on you, because they're going to have their own limiting beliefs. Let them deal with that. If you are with a group of people that believe in you, that support you, and that believe that you can achieve anything you want to believe, it's one of the most powerful tools that you can have in your arsenal. It's something that I've tried to do and cultivate in my community is a group of people that will support each other and push each other forward to achieve whatever goals that they want to achieve.